chiropractic in itself is a profession rather than a treatment. So when you come to see a chiropractor, you might find that your treatment varies quite dramatically between chiropractor to chiropractor. It happens an awful lot. A lot of people will come in and they'll say, well, my last chiropractor used to do this, but you don't. The reason is chiropractors have lots of different tools in their toolbox. One of the things that we're most known for are what are called HVLA, so high velocity, low amplitude adjustments. So if you're anything like a lot of my patients and you like going on TikTok and looking at those cracking videos, that's what we're doing. So it's called a high velocity, low amplitude adjustment. That's one thing that we can do. And also, just FYI, if you're watching those videos, the click isn't that important. So just bear that in mind. And a lot of them are putting microphones on those patients. Just another thing. So one of the things that we can do, and one of the things that we do quite a bit here at Acorn Health, particularly for patients with migraines, for example, is acupuncture. Now, acupuncture is something that originated in traditional Chinese medicine. So when we are performing it, we are actually doing what's called dry needling. The reason why it's called dry needling is because we're not introducing any substances. So we're not performing an injection, we're just using needles. So there's no substances going into your body. Now, we use a range of different needles to do this. I've got a selection of them here. So what you can see are the needles that we use here in clinic. And they come in single sterile packets. So that's one needle just in there. That's one of the longer ones that we might use. And then we have up to our teeny tiny ones. So these are little facial acupuncture needles that we might use if we're needling into some of the muscles around the back of the head and the neck. So looking at the needles, what we're aiming to do with them is use the needle and put the needle into the skin. See, it's so tiny, it's hard to even pick up on it on the camera. But we're using this needle, inserting this needle into the skin. And what's going to happen when we do that is that your body is actually going to release endorphins. Now, endorphins are one of our happy hormones. So what we see when we release endorphins in our body is that our pain levels actually drop. There's also what are called local reactions that go on in the muscles when you put the needles in. So we tend to see a lot of muscle relaxation as well. But actually one of the biggest benefits that we have seen and that the research tells us about acupuncture is that release of endorphins. So it seems a bit odd that our brains seem to really like being poked about with needles, but for some reason they do. So that's what an acupuncture needle looks like. As I said, this is one of the smaller ones that we might use in clinic. It's not one of our tiniest ones, but they're very, very fine. They're about the thickness of a human hair. And most people can't actually pick up on when the needles go in. The reason for that being is that our nerve endings in the areas where we might be putting the needles in simply aren't sensitive enough to pick up on it. If I put the needle into the palm of your hand where we have lots and lots of nerve endings, you will probably know about it. But around the back, into the shoulders, for example, we don't tend to be able to pick up on something that fine going into the skin. So if you're interested in having acupuncture as part of your treatment program, if you speak to your practitioner and it's determined that it is appropriate for you and that it's recommended for you, then it's certainly something that you might find really beneficial because those endorphins can leave you feeling really relaxed. They can help with your pain relief as well. So do speak to us if it's something that you're interested in. And as always, let us know if there's other videos that you'd like us to do and more that you'd like to know about a particular topic. And don't forget to subscribe.